Hi, it's Azlan of Vegivore Food Therapy, and today I'd like to talk about my Kuvings SV500 vacuum blender. I bought this blender, long time ago, 5, 6 years ago. I can't remember exactly when, but it's really good value for money, but you have to be very careful using it. You must not overload it. I've overloaded it a number of times and I've had to set it for repair and cost a bomb. So the best way to not overload it is to measure the amount of water that you put in it together with your other ingredients. So now my standard is to put 600 ml of water together with other stuff that I put. Okay, and I have a glass which is 400 ml, so I put 1.5 glasses. So that way, you can be assured that you won't overload your vacuum blender and won't have to send it for repair. The other thing is, a friend asked me about the vacuum blender, so I gave her the Coving's office number, and she called up, and she was stunned to find out that it costs almost 10,000 ringgit. I can't remember how much I bought it for 5, 6 years ago, but I suppose with the devaluation of the ringgit or the what do you call it, rise in the value of the won, the prices have gone up quite a lot. Anyway, I hope Kuvings is listening and would design a lower cost entry level vacuum blender for beginners. Okay, particularly one with a slightly larger capacity so that you won't have the problem of overloading it. Okay, I haven't posted recipes for my vacuum blender or my juicer for quite a while because it seems that I've tried every different combination and made videos. There's like nothing new to try. It seems like that. So, my videos about recipes are few and far between. However, I have compiled a playlist of all my smoothie and juicing videos, and I have a few hundred recipes. So I'll put up the link so that you can, whenever you run out of ideas, you can have a look at the videos and try something that strikes your fancy. Okay. You will also find that I tend to put quite a lot of different ingredients. The reason I do this is to get the nutritional diversity. If you just drink one particular thing, then you just get the nutrients from that one particular fruit or vegetable. But if you mix them up, then you get a wide diversity of nutrients. Nutrient diversity is quite important, as well as nutrient density and calorie density. Okay, those are the three concepts in nutrition that you need to be aware of. Okay, let me talk about specific my go-to smoothie, which I have daily. Okay, with very little variation. So, first, the base are berries. Now, let me tell you, berries have a very specific meaning in botany. And what we call berries, strawberries, blueberries, and a few other berries are actually, botanically speaking, not berries. They're just soft fruit. Okay. I've made a video about what berries are. Again, I'll put up the link so that you can see that many of the so-called berries that we think are berries because they have berry in the name are actually, botanically speaking, not berries. And funny enough, fruits that we don't think of as berries, such as chili, tomatoes, and what do you call it? What's the other one? Bananas. Yeah, they are berries. Okay, so what we call berries in everyday life and what the botanists call berries are very different. But the important thing to remember is, from a nutritional point of view, get soft fruit. Soft fruit that would otherwise spoil easily. So the reason why you need to have them is that they have lots of antioxidants in the skin. And get these soft fruits where you can eat the skin. Okay, so the antioxidants are in the skin. Nature puts it there to protect the contents from oxidation. Okay, so any soft fruit which have skin, that will be really good because the antioxidants are in the skin. So the main one I use are two main ones. Grapes and strawberries. Okay, let me start with strawberries first. The reason I use strawberries every day is because they contain a chemical called ellagic acid. I've made a video about ellagic acid. I'll put out the link for you to have a look. It's spelled Ellagic, ellagic acid. Now, ellagic acid is required for the genesis, the creation of new stem cells. So the reason I have it every day is so that I can regenerate my RPE, my retinal pigment epithelium, to improve my eyesight. I have, what do you call it, low vision. I'm an OKU, visually impaired person. I'm I'm what do you call it? Technically a VIP, visually impaired person, and I have low vision. And one of the reasons is because I have very low density of photosensitive cells, and these photosensitive cells are in the RPE, the retinal pigment epithelium. So by taking strawberries daily, and you don't need much, you just need 3 strawberries daily, okay? And it'll hopefully over time stimulate the growth of new stem cells that would form the photosensitive cells in my RPE. Okay, so that's with strawberries, and the I learned this from Dr. William Lee, L.I., not L.E.E., William L.I. Okay, he's an expert on angiogenesis, the genesis of new cells. Now let's talk about grapes. Now, grapes have an antioxidant in the skin, and this antioxidant is called resveratrol, and it has a dark color. So the darker the grape, the more resveratrol it has. So my first choice is black grapes, and number 2, purple grapes, and number 3, red grapes. I don't bother with green grapes because they don't contain any resveratrol, okay? And my preference is for grapes with seeds. So the seeds, in general, all seeds are nutrient dense. They also are calorie dense, unfortunately. They're nutrient dense because the seeds contains everything that a plant needs to make a baby plant. So it has all the nutrients it needs. And it also is calorie dense because to grow it needs a lot of energy. So it has a lot of lipids, oils, and fats, which are needed to produce the energy for it to germinate and grow. Okay, so it also has fat soluble vitamins in the lipids. Okay, so the fat soluble vitamins are 4 A, D, E, K. ADE. Okay, that's the easy way to remember. ADE, A, D, E, K. Those are fat soluble vitamins, and also seeds tend to have things like other micronutrients, minerals like magnesium, manganese, and zinc, and whatever else that's good for you. Okay, so if I can't get black grapes with seeds, then I will have black grapes without seeds, and then I'll try to get some purple or red grapes with seeds to balance it up. So I keep them in my freezer together with the strawberries. I buy them fresh and freeze them. If you don't freeze strawberries, just keep in your fridge. They hardly last more than 3 days. But if you freeze them, they last a long time. So I freeze these berries, strawberries, and grapes. Okay. So right now I have a mixture of red globe. I can't remember with or without seed. I have some black grapes without seed, some Egyptian black grapes. Now, the black grapes that I bought were from Aeon, and I looked up the literature. There are 2 varieties of black grapes from Egypt. These were Egyptian black grapes. So they're quite cheap. Okay, so that's why I bought them. So the two varieties are called Black Pearls and Black Magic. And both these varieties are what they call early harvest grapes. So you can start harvesting them in June. Okay, so um, anyway, I bought them because they were cheap, but unfortunately they were seedless. So I bought some other red grapes which had seeds in them so that I can get seeds. So I mixed them up. So when I make my smoothie, I put 3 or 4 strawberries. Normally I put four. Okay. And sometimes when I'm feeling extravagant, 6 or 8. But it's you only need three. So to be safe, I put four. And then, depending on the quantity of juice that I want to make, I put another 8 or 12 grapes, either black or red, okay? Or if I can find purple, it depends. You don't have to like make it a hard and fast rule. Just have a mixture of black, purple, and red, and hopefully 1 or 2 of these varieties have seeds. Okay. The other thing that I put in my smoothies almost every day is frozen sweet corn, frozen jagung. Okay, so these things I keep in my freezer and they help make my smoothies cool. Okay. You can put other stuff. You can put things like pineapple, for example. Now, pineapple is useful for the vision, especially you have floaters, because pineapples have an enzyme called bromelain, and bromelain will dissolve floaters. And the rule of thumb is if you eat a quarter of a pineapple or put it in a smoothie every day and you consume it for 2 weeks in a row, then your floaters will go away. If it doesn't, just carry on for a little longer. Eating strawberries is perfectly safe. You won't. Pineapple is perfectly safe. You won't overdose, so don't worry about overdose. And they're relatively cheap. You can get Morris or Josephine pineapples for as cheap as 2 ringgit each at Segi Fresh. And if you go to the largest supermarkets, you can buy MD40 and they can go up to about 10 ringgit each. Okay. So those are the fruits and vegetables. The other thing that I put in my smoothies for my eyes are goji berries, also known as wolfberries. So again, you can get them at Eon. 99 Speedmart doesn't sell them, or at the organic section. Okay. What else? Yeah. Okay. Now let me talk about the other stuff I put in. I don't use regular Quaker oats. I get the one which are 5 red. Okay, so I think they have 5 varieties of red berries that they put it in. Again, the reason why I buy this is because it's got more stuff. It's got a wider nutritional diversity. Okay, and in fact, to increase the nutritional diversity, I mix this up with brown rice powder. So these I got from 99 Speedmart, and they cost about 9 or 9.80 a box. They come in 2 different types. One is in sachets, and the one is just one box of everything in a plastic bag. So the one in sachets are about 90 cents more expensive. No big deal, it's marginally more expensive, that's all. So I mixed the red rice powder, brown rice powder, sorry, so that I get nutritional diversity. Okay, these are unpolished brown rice which has been toasted and then ground to a flour or powder. The other thing I put, and not all the time, but sometimes I buy a packet and put it in, are Nestum. Okay, Nestum also a mixture multi-grains, so gives you nutritional diversity. And when I run out of Nestum, I don't buy Nestum to replace it, but I buy some Horlicks just for, again, a change in the diversity, change in flavor. Otherwise, you get bored of the same stuff all the time. Most of the stuff I buy from 99 Speedmart because they have the cheapest prices. In fact, 99 Speedmart has a policy of selling any item cheaper than anywhere else that you can find. So I go to Eon or Sergi Fresh for things that I can't find in 99 Speedmart. I hardly ever go to KK Mart because they're quite expensive, although they do stock stuff, more stuff than the inventory is a lot more than 99 Speedmart, but they're just as expensive at 7-Eleven, which has less stuff than KK Mart. So but this happens very rarely. If I'm too lazy to go to Eon, then I do go to KK Speedmart to get stuff that I can't find either in Segi Fresh or at 99 Speedmart. Okay, so the other thing that I put um, pumpkin seeds. Okay, so again, pumpkin seeds are seeds, and they're nutrient dense. You'll also find sold at Eon melon seeds. Now you'll find melon seeds are generally twice the price of pumpkin seeds. So, and I don't think double the price means double the nutrition. So I think the best value of money is still um, pumpkin seeds. Okay, now if you are worried about selenium, you can take Brazil nuts, and I've read the literature. They say you just need to take two Brazil nuts for 6 weeks, and that will normalize your selenium levels. And the body doesn't get rid of the selenium, so it stays there for quite a while. So, if you're worried that you may have too low selenium, take two Brazil nuts for 6 weeks, and then thereafter, anytime you feel like eating it. I don't tend to put Brazil nuts in my smoothies. I prefer to eat them directly because they're quite tasty. Um, so that's what I put in my smoothies or eat outside. Not in my smoothies, just on its own. Okay, so I've covered most of the stuff that I put in my smoothies. And I add water, and that will be like one smoothie. Okay, now I'm going to talk about another thing that I've been doing lately is to make, what do you call it? Try to reverse engineer this drink called V8, which is mixture of 8 different vegetables, but the base is primarily tomato juice. Now, commercial tomato juice uses cooked tomatoes, and that has the advantage of making the lycopene, another antioxidant, more bioavailable. But when I read the literature, lycopene is actually not essential for human nutrition. So don't worry about the lycopene content of tomatoes or even watermelons. You just take it for the other stuff. So the vitamin C is degraded by heat. So if you put fresh tomatoes, they're better. So what I found lately was at Eon, it was very difficult to find tomato juice in Tetra Paks. In fact, I couldn't find any. And I only found at the Japanese section tomato juice in plastic bottles. And they're quite expensive, 15 ringgit a liter. So anyway, I bought 2 bottles, and I juice it together with cut up large ripe tomato. And then I put my super seaweed, which is a blend of 4 or 5 different seaweeds, mostly for the omega-3 and what do you call it? The iodine. Okay, and it's salty, so it has a little bit of salt in it, sodium chloride. Oh, I forgot to mention flax seeds and chia seeds. Okay, so I actually mix them and put in my smoothies, and daily I put half a teaspoon. Now, the reason I use so little is because when I read the literature, you only need 3 grams of omega-3 daily, whether you get it from spirulina or chlorella or flax seeds or chia seeds. You just need 3 grams. If you take more than 3 grams, there were times when I used to put 2 heap teaspoons because I thought it was so little. So I put 2 heap teaspoons in my smoothies, and I got what is known as postural hypotension. So it reduces your blood pressure quite drastically. And if you squat down to pet a cat, and then when you stand up, you get this dizzy feeling. So when I read literature, I found out that the quota for a day is 3 grams. So I decided to use just half a teaspoon of my mixed flaxseed and chia seeds. Okay. So that's a rule of thumb you might wish to follow. Okay, coming back to this vegetable tomato-based juice. So I use ripe tomatoes. I put my super seaweed, and I put 2 heap teaspoons of my dried mixed herbs. Basically, it's rosemary and marjoram and parsley and basil and what's the other one? Mint. Okay. I try to put peppermint because of all the mud saleh herbs. Peppermint has the highest nutrition. But if I can't get peppermint, which is quite difficult to get actually, I just use regular mint. But the taste can be quite overpowering. So when you mix them up, make sure you get the ratio right. It takes a while for you to adjust it to get the right quantity. I don't put oregano. Instead, I put marjoram. Now, marjoram and oregano are cousins. They are related to each other, so they taste quite the same. However, marjoram has 50% more antioxidants than oregano. So I don't bother with oregano. I just get marjoram. And again, marjoram can be quite difficult to find in supermarkets. So if I do find them in the supermarket, I buy everything. Okay, sometimes I buy like 6 packets in a go, and then there's no more at the supermarket, and they have to reorder. Okay, so I put tomato, my super seaweed, my what do you call it, chia and flax mix, and my dried herbs, and I can also put some coriander. I've tried with coriander recently. I haven't put parsley in a while. Neither have I used basil in a while. But those are the 3 herbs that you can put. You can put just 1 or 2 or a mixture of all 3. Up to you. You're the one who's going to drink it. So you decide what you like, what tastes best for you. Yeah, leafy green vegetables, especially aromatic ones, have vitamin K. Vitamin K is a fat-soluble vitamin, and therefore it's available in aromatic herbs. The herbs which are aromatic, which have aroma, are aromatic because they have essential oils, and essential oils are fats or lipids, and the lipid-soluble vitamin K would be dissolved in the lipid. And vitamin K is important for coagulation and of blood. Okay, when you have a cut or whatever, and it also helps with or maybe I got mixed up with vitamin D, but it also helps take calcium out of the blood that you eat into your bones. Okay, so no harm putting herbs because they would have vitamin K definitely, and sometimes vitamin D as well. Okay, and then I put a few tins of pepper. I used to go to Cambodia quite a lot, or I have a friend who comes to Malaysia regularly from Cambodia, so I get Kampot black pepper. That's spelled Kampot. That's the most expensive pepper in the world. It has a very distinctive aroma, but if you can't get Kampot pepper, I guess any black pepper will do, or Sarawak black pepper. Okay. And with the super seaweed, you don't have to add salt. So you blend it up in the vacuum blender, and that's That's fine. Now, I forgot to mention the earlier juice, the one with the grapes and sweet corn and the strawberries. Um, you can also put dates as a sweetener. So my rule of thumb is use one date for every every 100 milliliters of juice. So if I'm making 1 liter, I'd put 10 dates. And the dates that I prefer are called Mazafati dates, which are very similar to another date called Rotab. Mazafati is spelled Mazafati. That's Mazafati. And Rotab is spelled Rotab. They are almost identical as far as I'm concerned. They're very high in moisture, so they're very soft. They're not hard, and they're mostly black or brown, but sometimes you can get purple varieties. And if you get that when you make into a smoothie, your smoothie turns purple, so it's quite exotic. Okay, and don't forget to remove the seeds, okay, when you put it in your smoothie. And the other thing I've tried recently is to put red capsicum in the tomato-based smoothie. And when I put that, I put a little bit of Korean fruit vinegar. Usually I put a mixture, either the black raspberry or actually the Koreans call it black raspberry, but actually they're blackberries, vinegar, or you can put a little bit of blueberry vinegar, or my favorite, which is peach vinegar, which I haven't been able to find for a year. They seem to have discontinued that. So the next best one is actually strawberry and grapefruit vinegar. I tend to mix the 3 different vinegars so that I don't get bored of tasting the same thing each time. And I just put a splash of each time and vary the amount so that they taste slightly different. And that would taste like a gazpacho. I've even put garlic, 1 clove of garlic in it. I've tried previously with onions, but recently when I made them, I forgot the onions. So anyway, that's like a liquid salad. In fact, gazpacho is Andalusian for liquid salad. And the base is actually tomatoes, red capsicum. Sometimes people put green capsicum as well, onions, garlic. And the spice to put, I use my chaat masala, but the main spice that they normally put are pepper and cumin. A little bit cumin to give it, or caraway seeds to give it a nice taste. Okay, so that's it for today. I know I've gone on and on about juice, almost half an hour, but I thought I'd like to give you a deep dive into smoothies and what I use my SV500 Cuvings vacuum blender for. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to show your support.